What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the JoeyH podcast. Today, we have our sports analysis show. With me, as always, for this show, our co-host, Lucas. How are you?
Doing great. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I cannot complain. Chilling, getting ready for next weekend's college football playoff. Um, For those of you that don't know, this college football season has been insane nonetheless.
Absolutely insane.
I actually got the "If you can't beat us, cheat us" um t-shirt on today. That was from last year. Just so
Couple fan bases feeling like that for sure.
because I feel for Lucas, So
Wearing the
um
Florida State hoodie today, actually.
yeah. So in October, it's been a long time since me and Lucas have done this show. So little recent recap. October, me and him were at the Nebraska versus Rutgers game. I'll insert a clip right here. And Also, I did go on October 26th. I did with my dad. We went to the Miami Florida State game, which I have to say, like, the energy that the Hurricanes fans like put on is like, especially a night game, it's like insane. So, but that's only when the Canes are good, though. No offense to Canes fans. Just being honest, okay?
Just being honest.
All right. So, um, obviously this year is the first college playoff with 12 teams. Lucas, do you think that this is the correct format? Has the NCAA finally got it right?
Um, they're never gonna get it. And first off, I like this a lot more than the four team playoff. I didn't like that at all. I did not like that at all. You can't be a Power Five league with four spots in the playoffs. You can't do that. So I don't think they'll ever get it 100% right. Um, but this is a pretty good start, the way they did it. I like how they did the top ranking conference champions at the top four spot. I really like that. Um, I mean, Clemson is the 12th seed this year, but I mean, still, you're not going to miss the Power Five when you do stuff, when you're not going to leave out champions like they did last year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Non-champions. Champions are rewarded in that sense, and I think that's how it always should have been. Champions are rewarded with a spot in the playoff, and now that's happening. So I really like that. I mean, there were some real surprises. Oregon at number one, no surprise. Georgia number two, not really a surprise. I mean, wasn't their best year at all, but they won the conference, so here they are. Um, Boise State at three. Boise State looks super good.
Yes.
Um, Heisman for sure, in my
Ashton
opinion.
Genty for Heisman for sure. I'm
Aston Gentry.
I'm calling it right here on the show. He's getting the
If he's
Heisman.
not, all rigged, all
Facts.
rigged.
Facts.
Arizona State at four, they came out of nowhere. I think they were at like 14 or 15 before the CFP came out, and then They won their conference, and now here they are at the fourth seed, which is crazy. Texas at five, not surprised. They look pretty good this year. Who's the six again?
Penn
Penn State
State.
at six. I'm excited to see that game. Penn State, SMU with the 11th seed. Clemson is also the 12th seed, like I mentioned. Tennessee, Ohio State, the game I'm most excited for on December 21st. In Ohio, this is big in my opinion.
Oh yes.
I think that Tennessee and Ohio State is going to be a great game. I think Tennessee is going to come in there really confident because Ohio State just lost to Michigan, um, also at Ohio. But I really do think that this is big for Ohio State. If they plan on having I mean, obviously they need to win this game to even move on, but I think this game is going to show if they win, if they're going to lose to Oregon or not, or if they're going to just flat out win. If they come out swinging, in my opinion, they might win the CFP. They have a real big chance, in my opinion. SMU and Penn State. SMU has had a great season, first season in the ACC, first season in the playoff.
Yes.
That's got to be a great feeling for SMU fan base and SMU as a university as well. And Indiana Notre Dame, that is also going to be a great game in my opinion. Those
Yes.
two, when they play in general, it's usually pretty good. And this year they're both top 10 teams, so I'm really excited. I'm not the biggest Notre Dame fan, excuse me. Um, but you can't argue with good football.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm really excited for a lot of those games. But yeah, I really hope either Ohio State or Boise State wins. That would be really, really cool.
Yeah,
Uh,
that would be cool. So look, I will go through I have the schedule pulled up right now. I'll go through the games. I'll just give you guys my overall prediction on um, who I think is going to come out on top. So, at least for the first round. The second round I feel like is kind of hard to tell. So, I'll say this. I think Notre Dame will beat Indiana. Indiana, um, I think they're a great football team. They beat Nebraska really bad this year.
really bad. I'm
Um,
sorry, but like that was
no, yeah. I mean, hey, we thought that Indiana was playing a bunch of nobodies, and then we went to Indiana. We got smacked real bad. But Notre Dame, they did lose to NIU earlier this year. Fluke, I would say. Um,
definitely.
I think Notre Dame underestimated NIU, and as we all know, even in tune-up games, you can never underestimate your
Any
opponent.
given Saturday, it's literally the same.
Yes. So, I think Notre Dame will win. It's in South Bend. It's going to be electric under the lights. Give your prediction for Indiana Notre Dame.
I'm with you on that. I think Notre Dame is going to win. I do think Indiana is a good team, and if they can continue this next year, there's no doubt in my mind that they'll have a better year and they'll just keep getting better. But we'll see how the offseason goes for them. But I do think Notre Dame is going to beat them. I I think it's going to be a pretty good game in terms of like talent wise and score wise, but I think Notre Dame's going to walk away with the win.
Okay, okay. Now, um, Clemson versus Texas, 4 p.m. Saturday the 21st, in Austin. It's gonna be an amazing game. Cade Klubnik, he's from Austin, and he's a quarterback for Clemson. But I will say, I think Quinn Ewers, he's a beast. Texas has been beast all year.
All
Um,
year. I mean, they've looked great. in every game, even the games they lose, they've lost or game.
Georgia, they lost to Georgia twice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what it was. I can't remember if it was just once or twice. But they looked great even in those games. Just Georgia just had a better day those days.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, of course.
but I do agree Texas is gonna get the win in that game.
Okay. Now, SMU versus Penn State, under the light, or no, 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 sorry.
No,
SMU
it's a whiteout
versus,
game.
no, yeah, it is a whiteout game, but it is a noon game. Penn State versus SMU, in State College, um, 12 p.m. You know what? I think SMU is going to upset Penn State. And
Wow. I hope
yes,
you're right. I do not think that's going to happen. I think Penn State is going to come out there swinging hard. And I mean, there's in my opinion, besides a couple other places, Doak Campbell Stadium is one of them, of course, Alabama. But Penn State is one of the hardest places to play at, especially during a whiteout game. Um, and they've been, I mean, Penn State, in my opinion, they've been I don't know a better way to explain it, but like the ginger stepchild, you know what I mean, of the Big Ten. I mean, they're always right there, and then Ohio State or Michigan just sweeps the playoff from under them. And
yeah,
so
yeah.
I think they're going to come out there excited. I don't think they're going to waste the opportunity, but same thing goes for SMU. I think they're also really excited to be there, and I think they're gonna try to come out proving something that they've been ignored um, all these years. But I think Penn State's gonna win. But I hope you're right. I hope SMU just completely uh, comes out of nowhere and just upsets the crap out of them.
Okay. Now, Ohio State versus Tennessee in Columbus, 8 o'clock under the lights. Um, Look, Nico, Amalaiva, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. Very talented. Um, very talented. But I don't think I've made it known on this show how I feel about Lennessee. Okay? Lennessee is just Lennessee. It's a you know, I've seen like what's that viral video of the Alabama guy saying like he hates Neyland Stadium. It looks like a garbage truck working conventions.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it was.
So
It was that guy was hilarious.
that was awesome. But to give an unbiased opinion, I think it's going to be a close game, but I think Ohio State, they got too many weapons on their team. Will
Yeah,
Howard, Emeka Ibuka, and also um, Jeremiah Smith. I know I've been singing his praises all year, but
yeah,
that guy, he could play in the NFL now. You
yeah.
know what I
You're not
mean?
wrong. I don't think you're wrong.
The NFL should shorten the draft eligibility to 2 years out of high school instead of three.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's a beast, man.
That guy is a beast. I want to ask you,
Well, wait.
while we're on the topic of Ohio State.
Do you think Ohio State's gonna beat Tennessee?
Yes, and I don't think it is. I don't think it's going to be as close as people think. I think Ohio State's just going to beat them. But I wanted to ask you, do you think after this year, if Ohio State doesn't win, do you think there's any um, question or anything like that on Ryan Day's job? Do you think there's going to be any questions with his job security?
No. I mean, listen, I'm speaking from the lens of a non-Ohio State fan.
Yeah.
So listen, I know Ohio State fans beating Michigan is very important to them. And
Some of them think it's more important than winning the national championship.
yeah, yeah, I get it. It's one of the biggest rivalries in all of sports. Like I understand. But listen, I think Ryan Day is a great coach. And you know, look, I understand it's very important to them, and you know, unless he wins a national championship, you know, I don't think Ohio State fans will be satisfied. But to keep it short, no, I don't think he should have his job in question at all. I mean, the guy, he has two losses this year. Both, I mean, one to Oregon where they lost by 1 point. You
That
know,
was that was a crazy game.
yes, yes, and like Oregon's the number one team in the country. And they lost to Michigan. Obviously, they should not have lost that game. Very close, but but no, I don't think he should have his job in question, especially when they're 10-2. You know what I mean? I mean, and
Yeah.
that's what he averages every single year, you know?
Yeah, he's got one of the best records in college football right now. I think it's like something crazy like in the Big Ten alone, I think it's like 49-5 or 49-6 or something like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't know, but I assume it's somewhere around there. Do you think that Florida State should pull the trigger on Mike Norvell?
No,
No.
no, not at all. This year sucked. This year sucked pretty hard. I think we finished 132nd in a lot of things, points being one of them. Yeah, this year sucked. Does that mean I think he should be fired? No. He's got a new staff, which take it with a grain of salt. I mean, fresh start. We have a lot of good transfers coming in. Fresh start again. Uh, I think it's good to have a fresh start. It's just kind of worrisome because we last year the FSU fan base was very excited for those transfers to come in, like DJ Uyungdule and or however you pronounce his last name. Um, and a couple other guys, and people were really excited. And then looked how this year turned out. It kind of proved that the NIL and the transfer portal is kind of a double-edged sword where sure you have all these great guys who are really, really good, but if they don't know how to play together, then you just got a team of guys who don't know how to play together. That takes so much advantage out of the game. If your team doesn't know how to play together, or if your team doesn't know how to follow plays from the coaches, or if the coaches aren't writing the good plays, um, then you can't really point fingers at one specific person like Mike Norvell. Do I think Mike Norvell is on the chopping block? Yeah, I think next year, I think this coming up season, um, he'll be on the chopping block. Because I mean,
Well, let's
he's
be real here. Let's be real. Do you really think, sorry to interrupt you, but
no, you're good.
do you think that um Florida State would really want to have to pay him out for six or
Yeah,
5 or 6 more
5 to 6
years?
years. Yeah,
Like
exactly. So that's 50-60 million dollars right there. Um,
for
which is a
not
lot.
sitting on the couch, basically.
Yeah, for just sitting on the couch. And so no, I don't think they're gonna do that. I think Mike Norvell has proved he can win. I mean, it's been less than a year, or it's been a year since he won the ACC championship at 13-0. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's been a year since that, and within that year, we've gone 2-10. That's crazy. So he's proved he can win, but something happened between last year and this year to where that just didn't happen. We just didn't win games, and when we did win games, they were not good wins. I mean, we won against Cal. Um,
Yeah.
I think 17-14. We won against Cal 17-14. which, whoop-de-doo, we beat Cal. They're
And Charleston Southern.
then Charleston Southern, a high school, basically. Like,
No,
I
no,
mean, no
no. I
Charleston
feel
Southern,
you.
but dude, I mean, those aren't the wins you want to be celebrating. You want to be celebrating 13 and 0 ACC champion, or even like Florida, if we beat Florida or we beat Miami. I mean, those are the wins you want to celebrate, not thank God we play Charleston Southern. At least we'll get a win.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
you don't want to be when you're a fan, you don't want to hear that from your fan base, and you certainly don't want to hear it as a coach or as players. So I think FSU has a lot of learning to do and a lot of growing up to do. I think Mike Norvell needs to answer some serious questions about himself. One being, does he deserve the job at FSU? And I think he does. I think he's a great coach. I think this year just wasn't a good year, and those happen. Bad years happen. Um, but it's how you come back from that bad season. Like, is next season going to be better, or are we going to have a 3-9 year? Like, that's not. People want to see growth, not like people don't want to see static um years, because after three or like if he goes 2-3, I mean 2-10 or 3-9 again next year, then people really start asking questions like, does he deserve this job? But to answer your original question, no, I don't think his job security is in question. I think FSU really likes him there. I think the team really likes him. I think he's seriously just gotta be a better coach. I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know. I don't know
Well,
what he needs to do, but that's
the
my answer.
second part to that question, would you want Dion as the head coach at Florida State?
No,
No. Okay, tell
no.
me why.
Deion Sanders actually had an opportunity to come coach at Florida State. Before he went to JSU, they offered him a job there, and
Hmm.
he decided to turn it down and go to JSU. Which, you know what? Not too bad. But then he started stealing transfers from FSU, and um, Travis Hunter was supposed to go to FSU. He was supposed
Yeah,
to be there.
he
Um,
was, man. Oh,
and then Dion swept him under the rug, and that was pretty dirty. So I don't want Deion Sanders as a coach at Florida State. I don't think he would be a good fit there. I think Florida State would turn into Colorado, and not in a good way. But no, I don't think Deion Sanders should be the coach at FSU if given the opportunity.
okay,
I don't.
fair enough. All right, now moving on to the UFC. UFC 311, January 18th, I believe. We
Yeah.
have
Yes.
two title fights. We have Islam Makhachev versus Arman, and then in the co-main event we have Marab versus Umar Nurmagomedov. Um Now I watched Umar his last fight against Corey Sandhagen in August in UFC Abu Dhabi. Well, I wasn't actually in Abu Dhabi. I was just watching the fight from home. But Umar put on a great performance against Corey. Um, I liked how his wrestling was. He's very gifted, and I also got to see Marab's fight against Sean O'Malley, a UFC Noche. Um, a lot of people thought Sean O'Malley was going to win that fight, but Marab just went in there and mopped the floor with him. It wasn't even close. And I think we'll get something similar. I think this fight will go to the decision, but I will
Okay.
say I think Umar is gonna come out on top. I'm a fan of all those Dagestani guys, man. Like
Yeah.
Umar, Islam, Habib,
What do you
Uh,
think about Hamza?
Hamza, uh, Hamza is from Chechnya. I still rock with him. He's a cool dude. Magomed Ankalaev, he's a beast. But yes, I think Umar is gonna win. And then in the main
Okay.
event, um, we got Islam versus Arman. I think Islam's gonna win. I watched his fight against Dustin Poirier. Um, Dustin
That was
Poirier is a tough opponent, no matter who goes up against him. And Islam, he put on a great performance, and he submitted him with that Darce, and I think we'll get a finish in this fight. I think
okay.
Islam will finish him. I don't think it'll be in the early rounds. I think it'll be in the championship rounds, and
Okay.
I think Islam he'll be able to get a good submission in and still, So Lucas, Umar versus Marab, who you taking?
I'm also taking Umar. I think it's either going to be a fifth round submission or it's going to go to decision.
Okay.
Both these guys are really good on on the ground. I think Marab probably has a little bit more of an advantage on the feet,
Mm-hmm.
just because he's got good hands and his defense is just great. But I think Umar, just having the background that he does, I think his ground game is just untouchable. Not untouchable. Marab's great um, on the ground as well. We've seen that before. But those Dagestan guys, they're different, man. They're different. And with Habib in his corner as well, um, that's going to be big, I think. I think having Habib there is going to severely give Umar that advantage and his wrestling as well. So I think it's going to go to Umar by way of decision or fifth round finish.
Okay, and Islam versus Arman.
Islam, I believe will be a third round finish. Um, and honestly, I think Islam might. Uh, I mean, he could always go to the ground, but I think he might use his hands a little bit more this fight. He's really good on his feet. He's really good on his feet, in my opinion. He kind of showed that against Dustin Poirier, where he was standing with Dustin, and Dustin is a great, like you were saying, he's a great fighter against anybody he fights, and he's a great boxer as well. And Islam
He's
was
fought the
standing there
who's
with,
who, fought everybody.
yeah, yeah, he's fought everybody. But Armin is good. Armin's also really good on his feet. His kicks are really, really good. But I think Islam's just the better fighter, and I think he'll get it taken care of. If it's not a third round finish, then fourth round.
Okay, fair enough. And yeah, this is a stacked card. It's in the Intuit Dome, I believe how you say it, in Los Angeles, the newly built Intuit Dome in I believe it's right next to the to SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles.
That's really
Um
cool.
yeah, very cool where the LA Clippers play. I know the Clippers have the wall of fans that, they they show up there, and you can only wear Clippers gear, which is pretty cool, but it's all like new high tech. I love it. But also in the on the main card, we got Yuri Prohaska versus Jamal Hill. That's
I'm
going to
very
be
excited.
a great fight. Both fighters are coming off of losses to um
Alex.
Alex Pereira. But I would say I like Jamal Hill in this fight. Um, because I've seen Jamal Hill's ability. Um, he's 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 a great fighter. I mean, Yuri, he's also a great fighter, but I think that Jamal's striking ability, I think Jamal Hill is gonna come out with the victory. He's a beast, and Yuri, I'm not sure. I think it's a 3 round fight. But I think this fight, I still think we're gonna see a finish in this fight though.
I
So
think you're correct on that. Both these guys have been wanting to fight each other for sure. I think they've been wanting to fight each other. I think Yuri is going to take it away. I think it's going to be a third round finish. Um, Late finish for sure. Both those guys are really good. Both coming off a loss to the same guy is pretty crazy as well. I think whoever wins this fight is going to get the next shot at the title, get a rematch. Um, what did you think about the Jamal Hill Alex Pieta incident at the PI?
well, you know what? I was just about to say, I understand Jamal Hill's frustration, because if you do look back at the tape, um, Alex, once he was kicked in his private area and he waved off Herb Dean, I understand Jamal Hill's frustration because Alex used that time to kind of close the distance, and he sort of, and when he hit him with the hook or with the uppercut, he kind of stepped on his foot, on Jamal Hill's foot, and Jamal Hill went down, never really having time to recover. But look, either which way it goes, it would have taken a lot for Jamal to recover from that. But I think to not even give him the chance, I don't think that's good. But look, I understand his frustration, but I don't think going at Alex like that is a good look. I think that if you want, just win this next fight against Yuri, call him out, and try
Yeah.
to go for that title again. Because I mean, look, it's not looking like John Jones and Alex Pereira are going to fight anytime soon. So, which sucks, but you know what? That's just the reality of it. So, I think if he wants, to really get his revenge, call out Alex. I
So
don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. I understand Jamal Hill's frustration, but I don't think he should have went about it like that.
I get you. I kind of feel the same way. I kind of feel this frustration. I mean, um, you're right. He did when he waved off Herb Dean. He did kind of get a little closer to Jamal, and he did kind of step on Jamal's foot. I think you're right on that. But I mean, you should always be ready in a fight, in my opinion. So, I mean,
It's
Alex
protect
stayed ready.
yourselves at all times.
Yeah, you need to protect yourself at all times. So, um, Alex was prepared the whole time. So, and we saw what happened. Would that have happened if, Alex didn't get kicked in his cup area? Or if would that have happened if Herb Dean gave him a minute? Who knows? But the way that fight ended is how it ended. And so I don't think Jamal um, really gained anything out of doing after coming after Alex like that. I don't think he really gained anything. I don't think he earned Alex's respect or anything like that. I I don't really understand why he went about it the way he did, but I do understand the frustration as well.
Okay. Well, just to cap off this episode, we also have Beneil Dariush and Renato Moicano on the pay-per-view as well, and Kevin Holland is fighting that night as well.
Yeah.
Um, so thank you guys so much. It's been a great episode. I apologize for the inactivity. I will be getting back, and Lucas, as always, thank you for doing this, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, of course.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a great day.